Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those who are out there in the universe, on the internets. Today is December 22nd, 2024. It's around 10 a.m. in Belfast, where I'm located right now. It's almost the end of the year, and this might or might not be the last one. I might do another one next Sunday. We'll see. I have a couple of ideas, but maybe there is one more coming. We'll see. Today, I've been following this book that I told you the other day, um, from Alice Gendron, this one. And I believe not only her, but other people have talked about tips for ADHD people or hacks for ADHD people or neurodivergent people or, uh, those of us who think differently, who are in a different brain spectrum, I guess, so to speak. So I like the idea of tips because it's the idea that out there the universe is giving you some tips to manage these symptoms, so to speak. And when I got the diagnosis, I remember clearly, and I think I told you, the doctor said, "Okay, you got this. You have got it for a while. It looks like you have been able to cope for the majority of your adult life with all of these hacks, I guess. Do you want medication? Do you want to try medication?" And I remember saying no, because I don't think I need it. I have been dealing with this for a while, that I don't think I need it. It's not like it's not helping out or anything, right? So I believe there is folks out there who actually need the medication, and I encourage them to take it. I'm gonna speak for myself. I don't feel like I need it. And to be honest with you, I'm a little bit of scared of taking medication because it might change who I am, especially at this age that I'm almost closer closer to 50s. So imagine. So the doctor did say it looks like you have been using certain tricks or tips throughout your life to manage it. And then when I was reading this book, I think there is a section in there that's about tips and tricks. Let me double check really quick. I know hacks, ADHD hacks, and I like the idea of ADHD hacks. Um, I don't know, it sounds more modern than tips. Um, and she says, and I quote, as we've just seen throughout the book, life with ADHD can be very challenging, and certainly it has been very challenging throughout my life, to the point that I have been using hacks or tips and tricks to appear normal or typical out there in the world. And she says, but I'm convinced that by using the right tools and strategies, we can eventually get things done and enjoy a more peaceful daily life. So she's talking about these hacks as tools and strategies. And I have been using this one since forever, right? So this is the final part of the book in which she's sort of explaining the key concepts and hacks that have helped her since she was diagnosed. So it looks like she was not using them before, but I might be wrong. And she also acknowledges that not every single one of them will work for you or for me in this case, and that's okay. So she's suggesting us, the reader, try, learn, test things, and find out the solutions that fit for your life, not the other way around. So in other words, she's explaining her what works for her here might not work for others. So what I'm gonna try to describe today is what has worked for me, or more or less the hacks, the tips, all the things that I have done throughout my life to manage ADHD. So, as I was writing some notes, ADHD hacks typically refers to a collection of strategies, techniques, or as she said, tools used by people with ADHD to help manage daily challenges related to focus, organization, time management, often including things like productivity, setting up timers, breaking tasks, etc. So, managing ADHD symptoms can be challenging, but there are several things that people can do and what I have done. And it's interesting that I have done it without even noticing or knowing that I had any type of diagnosis with ADHD. So, establishing routines is number one, and keep a consistency is key, in which you create a daily schedule and stick to it to help reduce distractions and improve focus. And some of these strategies are sort of interrelated. So, yes, I have my routine that I have built that for a long time, a personal routine and an academic, professional, job related routines are like this sort of interrelated. But I want to share with you my routine, which some of my friends couldn't believe that I do this, but my mom told me about this routine. She said, "You see, you want to start your routine the day before or the night before you go to sleep. So you want to set up your day for the next day on the night before you go to sleep." And certainly, this has helped me a lot. For example, in the night before, in my mind, I'm sometimes writing, but mostly in my mind, I sort of picture myself what I'm going to be doing next day, the morning, the afternoon, the evening, and look at the weather, what clothes I'm going to be wearing for that particular day. And then I have these clothes next to my bed on the bedside table around 9 or 10 p.m. before going to sleep. So I put them on in order. I stack them in the order that I'm going to be pick them up after taking the shower. So guess what? So the first one is the jacket. Then we have the sweater. Then we have the t-shirt or shirt. Then I have the underwear. Then I have the socks. I forgot the pants somewhere in between, right? But that's pretty much it. So I put them. So when I come back from the the shower, then I pick them up: socks, underwear, shirt, pants, sweater, and finally jacket. And in the winter, well, it's the hat and the gloves and the scarf. Sometimes it depends. But then I set this up the day before. And I remember if I don't do this, it's just my day starts on the wrong foot. And I learned this from my mom because now I believe that my mom also had ADHD. Probably she doesn't know. But she came up with this strategy because of this, and now I picked it up. So I established that routine since I was probably 12, 13 years old, probably long younger than that. And I keep that consistency since forever. Okay. That's one thing. The second thing related to this established routine is that in that previous night, I sort of map out what are the things I'm going to be doing next day. At 6 o'clock, I go to the gym. At 7, I come back. I have a shower. I take my breakfast. I listen to the news. I take my bicycle, go to school, arrive at 8:30, work from 8:30 to 10, then take a little break to take some tea, then continue working. And at noon, I have to take my lunch at 12. I mean, between 12 and 1, that's my lunch time. It cannot be at 1 or 2. That's too late. That's not lunch for me. If you're asking me, let's have lunch at 1, 1:32, that's not lunch. That's a snack. for me, and I learned this from my mom. At 12 o'clock is my lunch. So 12 to 1, I have my lunch, a little break, then come back to work from 1 to like 4 p.m. And at 4 p.m., I take a little break, go take my coffee, my afternoon coffee. I have been taking my afternoon coffee at 4 o'clock all my life with a cookie or whatever pastry, any croissant, whatever it is. Sometimes I have meetings. I meet with a friend, and I do this from 4 to 5. Then come back to the office, wrap up the day with a few emails or whatever. Then come back home at 6 o'clock. And depending on the day, what I do at from 6 until like 10 p.m. is I can do dinner. I can go out on dates. I can go to the cinema. I can go to a show, concert. I can read a book. I can focus on my art. I do so many things, but to make sure that I go to bed at 10 p.m. So that way, it's in between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., I have full 8 hours of sleep. So imagine that this is only one hack, number one, and I have 10 hacks for today, 10 hacks. So I hope not to bother you. But this hack of establishing routines and consistency is key for me. And in my job, is the same thing. I don't want to get into details because then it would take me forever. But I need to be consistent with my routines at work and when I do things at work. Because this one is related to my second hack, which is break tasks into smaller steps. And to this, I want to give you a couple of anecdotes. When I got the diagnosis, the psychiatrist and the therapist after said, so gave me an idea of breaking things into small parts, which I have already been doing for my life because I couldn't cope. And I tell you an example of that. And then in this book, I believe Alice talks about the Pomodoro technique, which I don't necessarily like it, but I do need to break things into smaller steps. Because larger tasks, it's overwhelming. And for me, when I talk to friends and colleagues who do amounts of work during a day or during a weekend, good for them. I just cannot. So let me give you an example. If I have to write something, today's December, if I have to write something, then make sure that I set up a very long space of time or days or whatever to finish that. And then I break it down in little pieces. Say, like, today I'm going to write a paragraph. Instead of chunking everything into a weekend or 3 days or 5 days, full days, blocking full days, I just spread it out into little pieces throughout, depending on the time, throughout a month or 2 weeks or 2 months, depending. So I tackle these little pieces one at a time. And the same thing I do during this day that I told you from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I break it down into little pieces at work. I'm going to respond to this email. I'm going to go to this. I'm going to work on these little pieces every day. So what I'm doing every day is doing what I call a circle, right? Like a Pomodoro, but like a circle. So I do a paragraph, then I do an email, then I check out social media, then I do another email, then I do another paragraph, then I do another email, then I do this. It's a little things, but then it goes like a little spiral throughout the day. Instead of doing a chunk of 2 hours, I'm gonna do 2 hours an article, or I'm gonna do 2 hours just emails. I cannot do this. So I break it down in little pieces here and there, right? So sprinkle things throughout the day. So by the end of the day, I have already done most of the things that I was supposed to do. Number three, use tools and technology like planners, calendars, apps, timers to keep track on tasks and deadlines, etc. So You can imagine the number of apps that I have got in my life. I use one, didn't work. I use the other one, works for a week. I use another one. I have so many apps. But what I do is use different calendars to put all my stuff in there. In the different calendars, I have my personal calendar on Google, I have my work calendar on Microsoft or Outlook, and I have my paper calendar that I have it on the wall on my office, which I use a pen and I write it, right? But I also have a stack of papers next to me, right? Which I take notes, okay? But I also have a document on Word document that says tasks to do, and then I have to check them all the time. So it's like I don't triple check or quadruple check by fiftuple check all my words, and even though some things are missing, but I have to do this because then I will forget. So it's like I use different tools, different technologies, right? Google Calendar for tasks and calendars, Outlook calendar, the paper calendar, the little papers here. On my phone, I also have uh, like a notes where things that I do on the bus when I'm walking or when I remember, I go, oh my God, I have to do this. So those are the things that I do because I will forget, and sometimes I get the pen and write it on my hand. And then when I go to the office, I transfer this one to whatever it is necessary. I also carry a notebook or a notepad all the time with me, in which I'm taking notes all the time. Most of the times when I'm in a meeting, when I'm meeting with somebody, when I'm meeting with friends, I say, can I just take some notes? I'm taking notes because I will forget. So imagine that I use all of these different types of online technologies to help me with all the things related to my ADHD. Number four, Number four is related to create a distraction-free environment. And the suggestions, according to the experts, is minimize the clutter and noise in your workspace to help maintain focus. So I understand that some of my colleagues and some friends and some people decide to work from home because obviously it's easier. You don't have to transport and then you still be productive. But for me, that idea of create a distraction-free environment for me is the opposite. If I work from home, I will be distracted. I will be distracted by the kitchen. I'll be distracted by the things that I have here, doing some kind of like cleanup and washing the dishes, things like that. So I am very distracted when I am here. So when I am at work, I purposely go to work. I try as much as I can to my office, 8:30 until like 4 or 5 p.m. every day, because that routine, so it is connected to the routine thing, right? So I do this because over there I know it's work and I'm less distracted. I am doing work. I'm doing my office work. If in my mind, if I am here, it's like I'm doing homework, work at home, like homework, like I'm not doing work. I mean, I could do work, but then I wouldn't be as comfortable as if I were in the office, you know. So that's what I call creating a free, distraction-free environment. Also, I wear one of the things that I recommend folks to invest in. I know it's a lot of money, it cost me like 300 pounds a couple years ago. Headphones that are noise canceling headphones. And this is really good when you really want to concentrate in something that you really need to focus. You put on your headphones, put on the noise canceling function, and also put some, I don't know, ambient music, I guess. That's what I would. And then you are in the mood. You are not distracted at all. It actually sort of helps you with the work. So that's what I do to create my distraction free as well. Number five, set clear goals and priorities. Identify the most important tasks and focus on completing them first. And this is in relation to the break task into smaller steps and establish routine. Yes, I have in the document that I told you, I have many tasks, 10, 20, 30 tasks, whatever number of tasks. So I put them into today's tasks, then I put them in weekly tasks, then I put them in monthly tasks, and then yearly long-term tasks. So I put them in there, and then I sort of grabbing them from the yearly to the monthly to the weekly to the daily, right? So, in a sense, it's sort of granular this way that I am doing that, so to speak, right? That way, I know that my priority for today, for example, is send that email as soon as I get to the office, or write that blurb for that particular conference, or make a phone call, things like that. So I set up the priorities. I sometimes what I do, but I don't show you here today, I have these papers or cards that I have them, I write them with a marker with all the tasks, and then I put them, lay them down both on my table. There's a table that I have in the office, and I look at it and I say, and start them moving around so I can have a visual. That's one way. Another way, on the wall in my office and also at home, I have the same tasks and I sort of move them around. I put them in like a sticky glue or a sticky, what is that called? Glue tag. So I put them in the back and I pin them on my wall right here. And then I am just move them around to see the priorities. And I like that one actually, that particular uh, exercise or hack. Hack number 6, exercise regularly. Physical activity can improve concentration, reduce hyperactivity, and boost mood, which I must agree. Listen, I've been doing exercise or working out for like a long time. And I do realize it helps me with my mental health, with depression. But when you see your body that it sort of fits, that you look at yourself and you're healthy, then you know the value. That's why this is in relation to the established routine things. Almost sacredly, every day I get up at 5:30 in the morning, fix things here and there, put on my gym clothes, I guess, and then I go at 6 o'clock, and between 6 and 7, I'm not gonna say it's 1 hour, but in between 6 and 7, I go to the gym, I do my treadmill, I do my weights, I do all the crunches, all the exercise that I do. Sometimes I go to classes, Zumba, it depends on the week. But I do this, and I highly recommend folks with ADHD in general, but with ADHD or depression, whatever, this is really helpful. Exercise regularly, please. So I know it's painful sometimes. I feel like, oh my God, it's 6 o'clock and it's raining or snowing or whatever. And oh my God. But I have to say to myself, this is going to be helpful for you. In 10, 15 years, you're going to, 60, 80-year-old will thank you for this. And I cannot emphasize enough, please go to the gym, do exercise, even running around the corner, whatever, power walk, anything, do any type of exercise. If you had a body, please go with your body. Number 7, take regular breaks. Short breaks can help refresh your mind and improve overall productivity. I also agree with that. This is related to my established routines. I do take very regular breaks. So I go to the office, do these particular things, then 5-minute break, then keep working, 5-minute break, keep working, lunch, keep working, break, keep working, um, coffee, and so on, and keep doing these little mini breaks of social media or emails or texting friends, family, relatives, like things like little things like that helps me definitely improve my overall productivity. But on top of that, it's important, and I recommend to folks out there as much as you can to take that break at the end of the day. Me, after 6 o'clock, I don't look anything about related to work. because that's my personal life and that's the break that I take every week. And also the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, I take a break. On Saturdays, I go most of the day to my wood workshop. It's a workshop where I go and hang out with guys and we build or we create wood stuff. And that also helps me with my mental health. I mean, with neurodiversity or neurodivergent mind, I guess. So I recommend that. And on Sundays, I just take the full day off to go out and take a walk to the woods, go to the river, go to the mountain, depending on the weather. It's just a lot of walk or taking the bicycle, take long trips, etc. Hang out with people, like things like that. So definitely take regular breaks is important. Number eight. Number eight is practice mindfulness and relaxation techniques. Techniques such as meditation and deep breathing can help manage stress and improve focus. So this is related to the exercise regularly, taking breaks. You can take those breaks and breathe. I absolutely recommend this particular part. And as a matter of fact, I will connect this practice mindfulness and relaxation techniques um, with something I have talked about before about coping with art, and because I do sound healing, but also when the psychiatrist told me like if I wanted medication, I said no, because I found sound healing is meditation for me. So at that time, instead of spending money on medication, which is in Canada, it was free for me. I spend money on different artifacts or instruments for sound healing, like crystal bowls or Tibetan bowls, gongs, wind chimes, flutes, and all sorts of different types of instruments that would help me heal um, and relax, but also combined with the exercise is sort of the perfect harmonic way. So if you browse some of my content in this channel, you will see me playing the sound healing instruments. So I also encourage you to do this kind of healing. Okay, so number 9, one of the things that I have done as hacks. Seeking support is important, and I think this is one of the most important things that all in general, but for me and for ADHD folks, is about don't hesitating to reach out to friends, family, any type of support group to first of all to understand your condition, your situation with ADHD, and open up to themselves and say, "Listen, I have ADHD. These are the things." And I'm fortunate that I have very close friends who I can count with them at any time that I can call them, I can text them, and they are always there for me. And they understand my condition. They support me at any times. And I think that's important to reach out. It's important to tell your family. It's important that your family helps you with this. But if that doesn't happen, I know in the city you live, or the university you work or study, there are resources that help you and support you with this. As a matter of fact, one of the things that is helping me with this idea of seeking support is actually creating the support for others like me in different ways. So now I am the editor of the Neurodiversity and Applied Linguistics Handbook with other colleagues. Maria Rosa, Nick, and Suresh Kanagaraja are sort of helping me with this endeavor. But I'm also working with colleagues in mental health issues, neurodiversity, and disability studies. And now I have used this disability or this condition that I have as a way not only to seek help and support, but create the support through research, through scholarship, through creating the necessary means to support others as well who have been through the same path. And because ADHD, neurodiversity, depression, mental health issues are sort of interrelated, In the new year, I'm working and collaborating with Metal is Life. It's an organization in Belfast that helps and support folks out there with mental health issues within the metal community. And I think for me, it's important because it's not that I'm seeking support, but I am helping and supporting them. It's an early stage, but I hope to connect a little bit more with them in that part. And the number 10, the last one, is professional help. Consult with healthcare professionals for advice, medication, therapy options. This is one that, although I have not used it much, because, like I said in the beginning, most of these hacks I have been developing them for years since I was a teenager until now, um, to cope with them, the diagnosis or the situation here. I do encourage folks out there to help and to seek any professional help. And I understand that for me, I have not necessarily used it because, like I said, I have used these hacks for a while. But I know that I have my family, friends network that helps me. But I also know that there are places that if I need them, I can have access and to seek any type of support. And I think that's important to have these available. So these are my 10 hacks that I developed throughout the years. And these are the hacks that I have been using since I was a child. I just want to thank you, all of you, for listening to this series. I might do one more. Maybe I will do one just to finish up and wrap up the year. But for me, it's important to see ADHD and neurodiversity as a creative endeavor in which I am being creative with my art, but also being supportive with my scholarship um, at all times. So I just want to thank you for listening. For those who are listening, please reach out and let me know that you're listening to this. Um, and also, if you need any help, if you need a listening buddy, I am here. And that's it for today. I want to keep it short to give you my hacks. Bye.